coming down in Washington, where its final destination will be the Smithsonian. That takes me over to Lizzie O'Leary, who's there at Dulles. Lizzie, every fighter pilot that dreams of being an astronaut, they love to do a flyby, and this crew did get a chance to do that over the National Mall before it came down.
Yeah, it was sort of the mother of all flybys, Kira. It came past here at Dulles Airport and then did a very slow one over the National Mall and then did one more bonus one here. We were all waiting for it to land and noticed it was too high and its gear was up. But right now, the landing gear on the 747 carrying Discovery is down. You can see it's got its landing lights on, and I can see it over my left shoulder. It is starting to come in on its final approach. There are a couple hundred people up here, and then down in the parking lot below me, you have people who were basically tailgating here since about 6 in the morning. A big crowd of people. You've got little kids out there watching it land. It is flying in, and you can hear it on the air traffic control, the call sign for that 747. You'll hear them refer to it as Pluto 95. That's NASA 905, the 747 that is configured to carry a space shuttle like Discovery on its back.
And Lizzie, as the landing gear is down and we get ready to see the Space Shuttle Discovery make its final landing, this won't be the last time that you can see this, right? You're going to be able to visit it. Okay, and tell us about that.
Well, there's a cheer going up, by the way, from the crowd behind me in the parking lot, and here it comes. People will be able to see it as soon as Friday in the museum out here, which is part of the Smithsonian complex. They'll be able to come in and see it in person, and this thing is coming in on its final approach with the shuttle piggybacked on top of that 747. There's a big cheer going up from the crowd behind me.
The spacecraft, the oldest of the 3 orbiters, and has clocked more than 148 million miles on its missions, coming down for its final landing. Let's listen in.
9-8, when you do break off, just maintain out or below 1,500 and center right downwind, runway 17. We're going to have you clear to land on 1 center as soon as you tell me you can break out. Okay, I just want to let you know.
Space Shuttle Discovery, ending its final flight. It left Florida's Kennedy Space Center, headed here to Washington. Its final destination now, the Smithsonian. Our Lizzie O'Leary there on the ground at Dulles. And we can't hear the energy, I guess, Lizzie, but I know you can.
I could, and there was a lot of applause and a lot of cheering, and you had 2 astronauts here who flew in Discovery. Indeed, one of them, Joe Allen, who was also in the control room for several of the Apollo missions. So people with a very long history with the Space Shuttle program, which has come to an end. In the air, people will be able to come and see these space shuttles, a number of them in different places. Discovery will be here out at a special branch of the Smithsonian. And basically, Kira, what happens is it takes about 2 days to get it off the top of that 747 that it's on. Imagine a giant crane-like contraption that lifts the shuttle off and then moves it. That'll take 2 days. And then on Friday, it will actually be in here, and people can come and see it. They can't go inside, but they can get a pretty up-close look at Discovery, which flew 39 missions in space.
Well, you couldn't have more of three aviation geeks, and that would be you, me, and Ali Velshi, because aviation always moves into space exploration. And Ali Velshi, are you up? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's a bittersweet time for me. I mean, I grew up on these space shuttles, and in 1994, a group that I'm involved in, the X Prize Foundation, funded an effort to move into commercial space exploration. Right? They funded a prize, the Ansari X Prize, to come up with a rocket that would do the job that these shuttles have been doing. So while NASA did the heavy lifting up front, now we've decided that this movement of people and cargo to the International Space Station and suborbital space should be the job of the commercial space industry. That'll pick up in about a year and a half to two, and we'll see a lot more activity in space. But to see the kids that grew up thinking they wanted to be pilots and they wanted to be engineers because of this that you're looking at, they don't have that right now, and that's kind of sad to me.
Yeah, and in many ways, okay, we can look at the end of an era here, but you could also say that the past is meeting the future, right? Because
Sure.
if you think about just a few miles south of Cape Canaveral, you've got SpaceX, right? It's in its final preparations to launch its Dragon.
Yeah.
So let's be positive. Let's push forward here.
But you're right.
See the American flag, but Ali, can you see the American flag coming through the top of the cockpit? That's pretty awesome. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're absolutely right about that. It is actually the past meeting the future. Without Discovery, without the other space shuttles, without NASA doing what it did, we wouldn't have been able to evolve into this place where the commercial side of things can take the risk and spend the money now, and we can redirect taxpayer dollars to other things. I just hope that some of those other things will involve deep space exploration and the things that have changed our lives and our society and technology. Because in tough times, tough economic times like this, support for these kinds of big spending, dreamer, visionary space programs does recede. And we're in one of those times. You've heard the presidential debates where they think that less money should be spent on this and it should just be the private sector. The fact is the private sector couldn't do what NASA did in this shuttle program. I make this comment sometimes. Maybe the smartphone you got in your home, in your hand, has more technology than the first space shuttle had going into space, but we have gained so much from these programs. And as you know, we are not fully competitive, Kira, on the engineering and science fronts in the United States, and it is programs like these, it's watching that thing take off and watching that thing land that makes little kids want to be astronauts.
And you make such a good point on the note of the smartphone. You can go and look at the list of everything that we can be thankful for due to space exploration. It's not just about launching and getting in touch with the heavens. There have been so many things that you and I use on a regular basis due to that. You know what? I need to try and find that list. I know that NASA has a list out there. Name them while I try and log on and find that list, because it's pretty remarkable.
The one everybody talks about is non-stick pans. It's the one that's least important. The idea of Teflon and things like that. But it's really the technologies that enable us to do so many other things. It's not just the little things you have in your house. It's the idea that transportation